August the 15th, 2025. Guys, you're looking at satellite images of the wide Atlantic this morning at 9:31 a.m. Central. Guys, at 10, we'll be going live from Austin, Texas, on that House redistricting scenario set up there. What you're looking at here is this system right now that's off the Texas and Mexico border. It's about a 50% chance of development now moving in. We'll take a look at the exact numbers. And then here is Erin. It's supposed to become a hurricane anytime this morning now. Last I looked, it was at 70 miles an hour. 74 is a Cat 1. And then by the time it gets just north of the Bahamas, a Cat 3. So it's going to be, right now it's in the stage of rapid development. And it's starting to escape some of the Saharan sand. That's a big deal because now there's not much to restrict it. There's not a lot of wind shear fighting against it or anything else. It's still running pretty far south. The models are showing that it's going to come up and make this north loop somewhere right in this area. Now you got some moisture building up out here, and actually you've got some spin, but it's a high pressure spin. It could bring a little more rain into this area. Right here now, we've got the storm, and it is going to bring some rain into southern Texas, eastern New Mexico, and I hope that it does not flood the same areas that we saw just a few weeks back. Now, what you're seeing in this storm in the Gulf of America and the one out of the Atlantic is recycling. You can see it spins up overnight, and you can do it in the daytime too, but overnight it's easier. It starts to wind down just a little, and this morning, it goes last night, starting to pick back up. Again, look where it's at. If it just continues straight, it's going to cover the areas that were flooded before. And for you guys in the Caribbean islands, you can see them right here. Here's the southern tip of the Bahamas right there. It's a pretty good sized storm coming up on you guys, so I hope you are all starting to take this very seriously. Even this section, the northern section of the entrance to the Caribbean right there. Now if it stays like this, there will be some shredding of the lower section of the storm as it crosses these islands, but it looks like most of it, and maybe even the core, will remain offshore, and that's just going to allow more strengthening. Now, this is what the National Hurricane Center in Miami is putting out. Erin, again, 70 miles per hour. 74 is a Cat 1 hurricane, approaching very quickly. Here we got a 50% chance of cyclone formation from disturbance number 1. Saying shower and thunderstorm activity has persisted in association with a disturbance located about 75 miles off the coast of northeastern Mexico or the southern Texas coastline. The system could become a short-lived tropical depression before it moves inland this afternoon or evening. Regardless of development, locally heavy rainfall is possible along portions of northeastern Mexico and southern Texas over the next couple of days, and interest there should monitor the progress of the system. Another Air Force Reserve hurricane hunter is scheduled to investigate this system later this morning. Again, like they said, regardless of development, the heavy rains moving into southern Texas, very concerning, guys. Keep an eye on all your local weather stations throughout today and into tonight, into northern Mexico and southern Texas. Now, here's the storm right now, 70 miles per hour. They're saying by 2 p.m. today it will be an 80 mile per hour storm, which will put it up into a Cat 1 pretty quick. Tomorrow afternoon, Category 2, and then Sunday, we're going to go into Cat 3's look. Now a Cat 4. First time that's popped up. And that's going to be around Sunday afternoon. Then they show it going back down to a Cat 3, but notice how much closer it is to land, because for the last few days, this center was just off the left side, maybe 100 miles off the left side of Bermuda. But now we're starting to see this drift and an intensity and speed. 130 mile per hour storm right there. Now, the closest one to Bermuda is the Navy model, the purple line right there, and they all intersect basically north of there. But the Canadian model has moved a little about halfway towards the Atlantic shoreline right there. It's the pale green one here, and then again the Navy model right there. Everything's setting right here now, and so the Navy's expecting it to turn sooner than the rest of the models, and that indicates they expect that high pressure to pull back about the time it gets right in here. Now, there's not a lot of modeling on the storm out in the Gulf itself, but the models that are available are here. Now, the CMC has it coming ashore and stopping right here into southern Texas. That will extend out. Some of the other models loop it right up through the Rio Grande Basin here, and some of this is some dangerous area as far as the flooding that we have seen before. Again, this is updated about 40 minutes ago at 10 a.m. Eastern. Now, quick look at the Navy model. That's the model that turns it north quicker. Look at the size of this thing. Good gracious. Again, we know it's going to be a Cat 3, Cat 4 right up in this area pretty soon. Then turning up, scraping up here's Newfoundland and all this area, and then getting caught up into the vortexes that move it east. Wow, it's a huge storm, guys. The rip currents and things are going to be out of this world along the east coast, so you got to really pay attention. Don't get caught up in it. Now, the Canadian model is very similar. It does get a little closer to the shore, and notice right here before it gets there, and we're seeing that now, there's a little system off the east coast out there. There's a lot of rain involved in it. Doesn't look like it's going to track inland very far, but it does appear to be joining this storm, Erin, right there. In rapid development in this area, closer to the shore, again, you're going to get raked along the Outer Banks for sure. Now, this GFS model, is very similar to the other ones. It does come a little closer to the shore, but what is happening is it's indicating the second storm that we've been watching coming off of Africa and coming into Florida and Georgia right there. This is Erin moving up. Here's your other storm that's lingering. Moving up, kind of shooting the gap between the Bermuda and the East Coast. Then this storm coming in, and notice there's two kind of out here in the back. Here's Erin, another one forms, and then another one forms. We're getting in very close to September. Here's the second storm. A little further track to the south, high pressure above it, and then one right behind that. But guys, we're watching this. You got to pay attention to it the next few days. First of all, we'll start with Texas and Mexico. Then our attention will move to the East Coast. Right now, we're about 15 minutes from the Texas meeting going live. I'm going to end this here. The live stream's already set up to go live just about now. So go over and check it out while this is loading up, guys. But again, we're getting into that beginning of the peak of hurricane season. It's a heads up. Be safe.